you like to talk about wellness at the workplace. What does that mean?
Wellness in general is so important for your having a strong mind, strong body. And I feel like it sort of helps with everything in business and in life. So for me, it's really important, since we spend so much time working, to also find a way to weave in wellness, whether that's mental, physical wellness, into our workday.
You actually have very big, powerful, innovative tech companies, Tesla, Facebook, Google, etc. Do you know anything what they actually do in this?
I know the Google campus is very open. Natural light is a huge thing, I think. I always work by a window, or once it gets warmer outside, I'll sit outside and work. And I feel like that being in the outdoors also really helps benefit me emotionally and wellness wise. I feel more productive.
It is not enough to work out every day, to compensate the sitting. If you sit 8 hours plus per day and you work out half an hour or maybe 2 hours, it's not enough to compensate the damage.
The leaders at the top of any company should be the ones that say, it's okay if you take 5 minutes every hour to stretch. Because ultimately, when you do step away and you come back to your computer, you're more productive, and you probably lose 5 minutes, just glued to your screen.
As a serial entrepreneur, I'm always trying to evolve. Having great conversations with other high performers is one of the best ways to grow, not only in business, but also in spirit, health, and relationships. This is Svencast. Listen, grow, repeat. You are Alexa Lampasona. Did I spell that right? Lampasona?
You said it right.
Nice. You live in Boise, Idaho. You are a PR expert with a large firm, Super Connector Media, we are actually working with. We Digistore24. Your superpower supposedly is networking for building media relationships. Is that correct?
I'd say so. Yep, the entire company, and I consider that one of my skills as well.
Okay, so and you like to talk about wellness at the workplace. That got me quite curious. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah. So I've worked in a few jobs in the past. I mean, wellness in general, and I'm sure you agree with me, Sven, is so important for your having a strong mind, strong body. And I feel like it sort of helps with everything in business and in life. So for me, it's really important, since we spend so much time working, to also find a way to weave in wellness, whether that's mental, physical wellness, into our workday. So that's a big thing for me personally. And then I try and weave it into my professional life as well.
Okay. And but how does it actually work in practice? Is it something that the employer should take care of? Or is it something that, let's say, the team member should take care of himself?
Yeah, I think it's mutually beneficial for both. So I think personally, each teammate should know sort of what their vision of wellness is. So for someone like me, I'm very into running and hard, active adventure type sports, but someone else may be more into meditation or yoga and more that spiritual wellness. So they need to find, okay, this is what's important to me. And then I think where the employer can help is being supportive in that environment. So giving employees time to have that space for wellness, whether it's physical, telling them it's okay for you to go and do yoga during lunch or something like that, to put in place even some team building. I know Digistore24 is really big on a remote workplace and company culture. And so I think in a past job I worked at, we were really big about building a company culture around wellness, and doing that through having a team yoga session or a team meditation session.
Oh, that's interesting. So I can imagine, we got, for example, we got a lot of developers, and I'm not sure if you would like actually yoga, because I personally do some yoga. I like it, but I like it because it sucks. It really sucks. It's sometimes painful, and so I feel okay, I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and that's why I like it. Just as I do ice baths, ice cold showers, etc. But how do you how do you how do you approach that as an employer? Are you you offer this as like an option, or do you make it mandatory? And let's say 50% wouldn't like to do it at all.
Mhm.
Like how it's kind of like with healthy food. Like not everyone likes that, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think you have to make it an option just so you don't force people, but I think you give them a few options. You give them the option of someone more active wanting to do a yoga or like a walk break. Like I tried to do company walks during my time when I was at a big agency, and everyone was very busy. They weren't like rarely did people do it, but the one time I did get like 5 people to go on a walk with me, everyone was so happy. Another thing I did that I love is plank breaks, like holding a plank.
Hmm.
And I actually had like even people in their 60s doing it, like women in skirts, they go in their cubicle and do their plank. And it would be like you hold it, like some people only holding their plank for like 20 seconds, but that was
Oh.
really fun. And again, like thinking about for maybe those developers or people who they may think wellness is only like exercise and stuff, thinking about,
Hmm.
well, do you like to write? Like maybe it's writing a gratitude journal every day, and that's sort of the whole mental wellness. Or maybe it is like, let's take 5 minutes, let's just sit and be quiet. And like then you can have a meditation, but some people, if they feel like some people have a block maybe about meditation, then at least they're just sitting in silence and they're not on a screen, they're really just sitting with themselves. And that can probably also be beneficial.
Mm. Okay. So so you make like everything voluntarily. So you say, okay, you can do it if you want, or you have to do it. Where's that line for you? Where do you say, okay, now you have to do it.
Yeah.
This you have to do, and this you really don't.
I think I think you make it voluntary for everyone. Um, but maybe you do some sort of incentive program so that if they do it,
Mhm.
then like if they decide to participate in one of the wellness activities, maybe they get like an hour off work on Friday or something like that. So they're incentivized and more likely to do it and try something new. Because a big thing is like, yeah, learning and trying something new so that someone can actually feel like they can feel like they like it maybe them trying something new will help to expose them to something that then becomes a lifestyle habit or a habit in their daily life.
Okay. You actually have very big, powerful, innovative tech companies like Tesla, Facebook, Google, etc. Do you know anything what they actually do in this regard? Do you know any about that?
I don't. Like I know like the Google campus is very open. Natural light is a huge thing, I think. Like I always work by a window, or once it gets warmer outside, I'll sit outside and work, and I feel like that like being in the outdoors also really helps benefit me like emotionally and like wellness wise. I feel more productive. I don't know if you feel the same, Sven. Um, but yeah, I know they have things in place to make and promote wellness better. So yeah, and I think they all it's sort of the company culture. So when they're hiring people, they probably also look for people that are likely to sort of be disruptors or try something new. And I know you've talked about that with Digester 24 is like you all are always trying to find people who are sort of like wanting to challenge themselves. And I
Hmm.
think that's sort of where the companies that do workplace wellness right, they have people who aren't afraid to like try something new.
Okay. What do you think about microdosing?
I actually haven't tried it. Do you do it?
No, no,
Oh.
no. I. I mean, I. I don't think I would be able to work clearly. Like, I've tried it once for recreational, but not for work.
Hmm.
But it was like I couldn't really think straight, so it's not a good thing for me at a workplace. However, I know that some tech companies like I heard that in Silicon Valley it would be quite common.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Like
I've
everyone's doing
never
it.
tried it either. No.
Yeah, but no, I tried like guarana and caffeine and this kind of stuff in a little bit, like and green tea mixed with green tea. And
Mhm.
yeah, and supplements. I do supplementation a lot. So anything that really helps me keep my focus.
What are
That's
some
kind of
of your
what I do.
favorite supplements?
Oh, vitamin D is very important.
I
Like
do the
vitamin
same.
D. Vitamin
Mhm.
D is like my number one. Um, I also think that resveratrol is very important. There is a lady talking about it. Her Instagram name is Found My Fitness. Found My Fitness. I think her name is Rhonda.
Okay, I'll have to look her up. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, she's fantastic. I like vitamin C, vitamin K. These things are very
Mhm.
important. So I'm really a health nut. So this whole workplace wellness thing is really important for me.
Mhm.
But it's like it's a lot of work to do that. I mean, it sounds so laid back. It sounds so um so it sounds so easy to do, but it's really hard to do. For example, one of the most important things you can do for your workplace wellness to ultimately improve your productivity and your
Mhm.
health is standing while working, not sitting. Like I'm
Mhm.
standing. You see, I'm standing here. I'm also,
Me too.
you know, you're standing. That's very
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
standing desk.
Oh, that's nice. So the for me, my task is like from morning till about 5 p.m. I have to stand. And if in between I sat down, then I have to work an hour longer and stand
Oh.
again. This is like my regimen. So
Mhm.
this sitting or standing is like it's really big because sitting is kind of like the new smoking.
Yes.
And the more you sit, like you'll ruin your health. It has so many bad side effects on your bones, on your whole body composure. Like you'll gain you'll gain weight. You'll get fat. You might
Mhm.
become insulin resistant. There is so many bad side effects, but it's hard work. It
Mhm.
it's like when you're not used to it. Uh, Work standing all day long. I mean, it's really hard, and sometimes then like when when it was really hard for me, then I lay down. I might lay down for like 5 minutes, taking a break, and then get up. But I try to avoid sitting as much as I can because it's terrible enough. Like I have to for my job. I have to travel a lot and I have to drive a lot, so I
Mhm.
cannot evade sitting there. But now. Um, that I know about the bad side effects, I really feel bad about sitting. And this is like, in my opinion, like the number one thing you have to do for workplace wellness. From That's just my personal opinion. Of course, next to getting enough sun, this is also a big thing.
Mhm.
I was in Mexico, and about after like a break of 20 years, I was laying in the sun again. I hadn't done that for about 20 years because just wasn't important for me to get a 10 or something.
Yep.
But I tried it for a few days and I noticed that I had a significant uplift in energy. So I had a lot more energy. And then I found out that our mitochondria, like human mitochondria, um, somehow they need sun for some reason. And it's not just the vitamin D that is being produced as a result of the sun, it's also the mitochondria directly. So I noticed an uplift in energy. And so I also thought, okay, wow, that's really important too. And of course, drinking a lot of water, like a
Mhm.
lot of water,
Got my
like three
water here.
liters. Ah, same here. I actually got a big
Cheers.
one. Cheers. Um, so that's really a biggie. That's really a big thing. And this is like in my perception, this is like these are the most important things for let's say workplace wellness.
You're
But
definitely right.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
But they're really like a lot of work for myself. So it's not like uh so I have to really work for my wellness. This is like
Mhm.
the thing. And another thing is a lot of people are somehow sensitive towards sugar and anything that spikes your insulin.
Mhm.
And a lot of people who actually applied with our company, um, I noticed like with some who who we had to let go, they were like, uh, they had this crash after lunch and they couldn't recover from it.
Mhm.
And it was just like kind of like I just didn't feel entitled to be able to tell them like, hey, stop eating carbs. That's too private. I didn't want to interfere with their privacy. So I
Mhm.
knew, because I know it for myself. If I eat like pasta or pizza, or even bread or even sugar or even fruit juice, if I do that at lunchtime, then I'll be destroyed afterwards. Unless I, of course, take a nap, etc. But I don't want to let that happen.
Mhm.
So I also discovered kind of like the low carb thing for myself,
Oh,
in order
nice.
to, yeah, in order to perform better at my workplace. But again, this is also a little bit of more work, and it's a lot of deprivation, of not not eating what I like most. Of course, I'm craving carbs, but I deliberately don't eat them as much for this
Mhm.
reason. So all these things like really improve your wellness. Of course, light is also a thing. Like, what kind of light do you have? And for example, I also have these glasses with blue light filters.
Oh, the blue
They're
light.
really,
Mhm. Oh,
yeah, they
nice.
really,
Those look cool.
yeah, thank you. And they're really yellowish. But in the
Yeah.
afternoon, from the afternoon on, they make sense because we're being exposed to so much blue light, which then inhibits our melatonin production, which is kind of bad. So it gives us better sleep if we block especially in the age of LEDs, if we block out the blue light. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of things to do for workplace wellness. Of course, like a plank or some push-ups to get your blood flowing. It's also a great thing and should be highly encouraged. So I'm totally at the same page with you.
Yeah.
Um, that's and yeah, it's extremely important, and especially for us screen workers, I call them. Like in
Mhm.
Germany, we call them screen workers. They're like people sitting in front of the screen all the time. Yeah, that's really, uh, yeah, it's really important.
Yeah,
Um,
I definitely agree with you, Sven, too, because and I think you sparked an idea with workplace wellness about educating employees. So like
yeah,
maybe like they don't know how to eat well, or they don't know
yeah,
at least every hour you need to get up and move. Like if you don't have a standing desk, it's okay because you could still get up, you could do like a quick stretch just to like move
yeah,
the blood. And so that's like another good thing, that possibly part of like a happy hour or a company gathering, like doing some education around wellness. Because I think a lot of people just don't know. Like people like you and I are really big into wellness. And like for us,
mm,
like I'm sure when you do sit, like literally all you have, if you're like me, all you think about is the fact that you're sitting and like your
yeah,
body is getting tighter. I'm just sitting
yes,
there and I'm like, oh, my hips are getting tighter and like I need to move. And
yeah,
yeah, it's a challenge. So it's a great point.
yeah. Like one developer, actually, our CTO, he actually has a workplace, and he has like a treadmill under his workplace. So he's,
Oh, I
but
always wanted one of those.
yeah, but in one occasion he broke his foot.
While working, like he tripped or something.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's bad. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk too, but like, without a treadmill underneath, and I'll just, walk
You could
like standing
balance.
on. I balance. I stand on one foot, and then
Hmm.
on the other, and the rest is like for the treadmill or outside. Like when I really focus on it. That's cool. Yeah, and I hope that like my way of like hoping for education of like our team members is, I hope they listen to our podcast and they get that information there. I don't really like feel like, I feel like I would interfere with them a lot if I told them, I mean, with the privacy, like if I told them, hey, don't get overweight, stand up and
Hmm.
burn calories, eat less carbs, etc., etc. That's like, I feel like this podcast is a very safe way for me to suggest it, and they see that I'm living it, because I stand all the time. Of course, there is also moments where I think, okay, I have to really think deep, and sometimes with some kind of deep thinking, I really feel like, okay, I need to sit down. So there's so I can focus more sometimes. But these are very rare moments, and I try to balance them out with like standing more than 95% per day.
Yeah,
Which
it
brings
sounds
me
like
to
you're
the
doing it right.
yeah, I'm trying, but I'm still like a student, and I'm working hard to make this work better. It and the big thing, is also it is not enough to like work out every day. If you like to compensate the sitting, if you
Hmm.
sit for 8 hours plus per day and you work out for like half an hour or an hour or maybe 2 hours, it's not enough to compensate the damage that you're doing. It's crazy.
And
So
that
sitting
stresses
is,
me out so much. When I heard that, I'm like, what? Like, I need to exercise more because I make a point to exercise every day. On the weekends, it's 2 hours or longer, depending on what activity I'm doing, where I am. Yeah, if I'm like doing a hike, maybe like 5 or 6 hours, or if I'm running, it's like 2.5. Um, but yeah, that makes me so anxious. And that's why I think it's important to like like stand throughout the day and then do these breaks throughout your day. Like do
yeah,
3 minute stretching. And I say this and I'm having trouble doing it too. But I think like the leaders at the top of any company should be the ones that say, it's okay if you take 5 minutes every hour to stretch. Like, because ultimately when
yeah,
you do step away and you come back to your computer, you're more productive and you probably lose 5 minutes, like just like glued to your screen, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you're at your screen for 5 hours and you don't move, you're probably not as productive as if like every hour you went and did something real quickly, came back, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's important. I do it too, and I try to improve my results, my performance. It's absolutely the right thing, and I stated publicly here in this podcast. In the following episode of Svencast.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about PR, if you hire a PR company, is that, cool, I hire them, I don't have to do anything. That's a big misconception. When you hire a PR firm, you also have to do work. And that's really like helping them understand your messaging and sharing like the ideas, the latest news about your company. It's a mutually beneficial. Like, we do most of the work. We understand your story. We help, like we do all the heavy lifting.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode of Svencast again.